Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of You Can Sit With Us. I'm one of your hosts, Matt, sitting here with Becky.
Hello.
We have Rainie on the ones and twos.
Hello.
And we have our editor extraordinaire, MJ, in the house.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you for coming to sit with us, MJ. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited to be here. I've been working here for like 4 years, and I'm finally on. This is like huge for me. I made it. This is big. I'm very excited.
Yes.
Well, it's just unfortunate that people here have to work.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's like we would have everyone on, but then everyone's also working while they're here.
That's
To be
true.
clear, like the offer has been thrown around, and I'm always like, I got a deadline. I got something to do today. So yeah, thank
What's
you for having me
new?
on.
What's the haps?
Oh, I don't know. Things have been chill around the office. The editing team, for the first time ever, is ahead. This is
Whoa.
big for us.
Whoa, congrats.
This is big.
I feel like we need a banner
I know,
going
I know,
along the bottom. Breaking.
So that's why I'm able to be here today, which is really nice. We're ahead. We have a lot of our big tentpole shows coming up, and we're like already working on that, which is big. Like that. Normally, we're like sort of right up
crunch
against
time.
that deadline.
Yeah, at
But
crunch
we're doing
time.
great. So that's been solid for all of us. Yeah.
Hell
How are you
yeah.
guys?
This week I did my first solo flight with Hanato, the baby.
How do you do?
So which one was Thor?
Might have been all of them, baby. Might have been all of them. No, it was good. He's gotten better about being in a plane since he's like more like aware of life.
Mhm.
He was pretty chill. He was like kind of crazy
Crying
sometimes.
to the minimum?
But crying to a minimum,
That's
except
good.
on the way back he was, but because we left earlier than the first time, so
Mm.
he was okay with that. But
Yeah.
yeah, he was chill. He was
great.
fine. I read my book. I read Devin was on the other week, and she was telling us about a book she was reading,
Mm.
and we spoke it into existence. Her book is being turned into a TV show.
Stop.
And I said,
Stop.
my favorite type of book is a book that gets turned into a TV show. So I read that.
Then you can enjoy twice.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, then you can enjoy it once and then complain the second time, which is its own enjoyment.
Yeah.
That would be
Except for The
fun.
Notebook. That is the only
That's-
adaptation of a book that I'm like, that is how the book should have ended.
Yeah.
Do you know there's
Oh,
a
I
sequel
see.
to The Notebook?
No.
The Wedding.
It's called The Wedding.
It's called The Wedding. It's not
Wow.
good.
Wow.
They should have died at the end,
Yes.
always.
Yeah.
But the book was good. It was called like Other Side of the Valley, I think. Yeah.
Devin just bought like 7 more books.
Yeah.
She's always
Bookaholic.
She's
Really?
she is
Voracious.
bookaholic.
Yeah.
So
I
I
love
loved that rack. And then she was telling us, you guys were on one of also my favorite shows, The Mentalist.
Mentalist.
Have you finished The Mentalist?
We have finished The Mentalist.
You
Wow.
have since finished.
Congratulations.
I don't know what it is about that show, but it's so addicting to me. It's
100%.
I was lost in it. I
I
love
was
it so
lost.
much. It's so good. Ended a little bit faster than I wish it had. I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
the final season got
Mm.
chopped like in half.
Yeah.
But overall, really liked it. Really, really liked it. My cheeks are warming as I think about it. Like I just Patrick Jane. Love him.
He's a beautiful man.
He's a beautiful man.
I actually remember watching that show and then watching Devil Wears Prada and being like, what's the Mentalist doing here? What's he doing here? Why are you... What are you doing here? You should be out looking for Red John.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Yeah, they just made shows way different back then.
Yeah.
Although
Mhm.
apparently, have you been watching, my mom like loves it, Odyssey?
Oh, I've
With-
heard.
Yeah, Joshua Jackson and
No.
Philippa Sue. She said it's a
Recommend?
Ryan Murphy show, and she said
Oh.
it's so funny what they try to do. She's like, it's like a soap opera, and anything you think's going to happen happens. And I was like,
always
oh,
gonna
happen,
okay,
happens.
because they're
A
deep.
ride.
They're deep into the like NCIS, Tracker,
yeah.
911,
Yeah.
Matlock.
Monk.
Yeah.
I love Monk.
Okay, Monk's not on anymore.
That's true.
There are reruns.
The remake.
Okay.
The remake started.
Okay.
Prequel, maybe.
I don't
Inspired
like
by
like
true
young
events.
Sheldon.
Yeah,
young Sheldon
young
of
monk.
Monk.
Oh, what if they did a young
Monk.
mentalist?
Oh, Young Mentalist.
Well, he was just sort of a carny,
Yeah.
right? Like that would be an interest.
He was a
would watch
trickster.
it, yeah. But he was a bad
would
guy
watch
for a
it.
while.
Yeah.
So I would
But
still
really,
watch
I
it.
feel like that's why they should make it.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
Having the glimmers of his like humanity come through, I think could be fun.
Right? It would
It'd
be
have to be
cute.
like one season though. This can't be something that we
No.
stretch out. I feel
No,
Limited series.
definitely not.
Limited
I live,
Series
live,
Bones.
live.
We talked about that one. We could redo that one. Prequel. See what Prentice was up to as a youth.
yeah, true.
Matt has no idea.
The thing is, I've seen episodes,
Not
but
Prentice, Temperance.
I've seen
Prentice
episodes,
is,
but I haven't watched the whole thing.
Criminal Minds.
All the whole things. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
I will say I too.
I don't get into that much.
I'm awful at watch. The Mentalist is like the first time I've watched a show like from front to back.
Wow.
Not a show,
Whoa.
but like one of the procedurals. I never watch those front to back because I just used to watch them on TV. And now that streaming is a thing, I just never got around to it. I was just like,
so many other things
there are
on
like
demand.
400 episodes of bonus.
That's true. They don't make TV like that anymore. Like 22 episodes in a season.
No,
I would
it's a career.
love that.
Yeah,
I need more long shows. My mom and I watched The Gardener on Netflix.
I started. I watched the first episode.
Yeah.
Does it get better?
It's kind of all the same thing the whole time. You know what? And I didn't really care because do you watch any like foreign shows? Have you ever heard of Elite?
Yes.
Do you ever watch it? Okay, so Polo is the gardener. Polo.
Okay.
R.I.P. But also he's kind of bad sometimes. So maybe not R.I.P. Polo. But he's the gardener, and he is always bug-eyed in the gardener.
Yeah, he does have big eyes.
He has big eyes, and he always cheers like this.
Big old cow.
He was like hit or something by a car. Didn't he get in like a car accident or something?
He was hit. So the gardener, Elmer was in a car accident when he was little.
Yeah.
And for some reason...
Gave him like a concussion, and then he was like...
Not a concussion. He had a serious brain injury.
Probably both.
Probably both.
I mean, he's got one, he's got the other.
Yeah, he wasn't flung out of the car when he wasn't wearing a seatbelt and they hit a tree, which was kind of crazy to me.
Yeah.
So he just kind of had this like jagged, but it severed his frontal lobe.
He was lobotomized by a car crash?
Basically. And so he has no feelings or emotions. But then you find out in the first episode, he's getting glimmers of his feelings and emotions back.
Yeah.
So and he's a murderer. He's a hitman, basically.
Like
for his mommy. Yeah. For his mommy. He murders for his mommy. They have a very interesting relationship.
Very strange.
Very strange. They would definitely dance way too close at his wedding. 100%. Have you guys seen that on TikTok? Like the mother-son dances that are like...
I feel a lot that on like... a lot on like, Am I the Assholes? Or like there are lots of Reddit threads that go over stuff like that. And I'm always like,
too real.
Boy.
Chills. I used to work in the wedding industry. I like worked at a prom and evening gown store that had a wedding division.
Cool.
Okay.
And the wedding people were the worst to deal with, especially the moms.
Yeah.
It was always awful.
Do you have any good stories? Like anyone stick out?
My whole job, it was a wild ride. The one time, this isn't really a wedding story, but I did have one woman come in and she seemed really strange. And she came in and she was like running around the store and she was like, oh, I want this and I want this. And like, so I'm a manager. So I'm like running around and we like serve water on a silver platter and it's this whole ordeal. We try and make it an experience. That was like what my bosses were telling me to do. So I would always like follow people around. I'm holding their gowns for them, like putting them up in different changing rooms and stuff. And so I'm holding all of these things for her.
Yeah.
And she comes, it's 2 floors. She comes back upstairs and she was like, okay, I'd like all of this on the house. And I was like, you have to keep a really stone face. I was trying so hard. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am. We don't do that. If you'd like to put it away on like a deposit or something down, we can do that. Like I'm immediately pivoting, but I'm like, this woman's crazy.
Yeah.
And so she was just like, no, I'm sorry. Do you know who I am? And I'm like,
no, ma'am.
No, ma'am. I'm so sorry. We don't do that here. I'm working with like a lot of high school girls and a couple college girls, and they're all terrified. So I have to be the one that always is like laying down the law. Yeah. So I was like, I'm sorry, man, we don't do that here. If you would like, I can put these dresses aside for you, but otherwise, I'm sorry, don't worry, we can't do anything for you today. And she like did this, a real huff and puff, and then we had this really strange man who was our doorman. He like worked with us, but he was really odd. He has, if I were to write a screenplay, it would probably be about him because he, just quick aside, was like he like was a mafia kingpin in Miami and like helped build the strip and then went to jail and then found God and then came back and then fell in love with the owner of our store. And then decided to like put up money for this place
Oh my God.
So he was like part owner, part security?
Yes, he was there, and
He
also
was the doorman?
he's also our best salesman. Well, we called him the doorman because he sort of fielded who was coming in.
Oh, gotcha.
Because there are a lot of young girls working there. So he would be like, you're a fucking weirdo. How about you stay out here and we'll talk? And he'll like deflect them. So I did appreciate the work that he did. But he himself was really weird. So anyway, all this to say, this lady went up to talk to him and like, then she ran back over to me and like whispered something really in my, like, so, you know when people get too close to you and you cannot discern a single thing they're saying? She was like, I was like, okay. And then as she's leaving, like we're getting his name is Mr. J. Which is so funny.
Of course it is.
Mr. J.
Mr. J.
We were getting him to like escort her out, and she like whips around and she's like, do you remember what I told you? And I was like, and she was like, what did I say? And I like made something up, and she was like, and then she left. And that was like the worst experience of my time there. Anyway.
That is wild. I do kind of wish when she asked, you know who I am, you said, no, who are you? Tell me more. I'm desperate
Please tell
to know
me who you are.
Which influencer?
Yeah. I'm like, are you on Real Housewives? What's the deal here?
Also, does that work? Like if you're just like
Thing, I want
famous
this on the
enough and you're
house.
like, this is on the house. And are people just like,
The thing is, I'd be like, no. I'd be like, this
does
is
that
my
work other
superpower
places?
because
Yeah.
I don't watch TV. I don't know who you are. You can tell me anything. So I have to be like, yo, you got to talk to my manager. I don't know. Or my own, like the owner.
Yeah.
Because I was the manager.
Well, let me get the manager for you. Oh, shit.
Turns around.
Damn it.
Oh, sorry. Actually, manager said no.
Manager,
I'm
just checked. On the walkie.
But
yeah.
Or what is it? Earpiece?
Yeah.
From the
Yes.
FBI.
Oh, I wish we had earpieces. That we'd have been nuisances.
That would have been sick. We should get earpieces for here.
for just this podcast.
Just the
Just
podcast.
the
So you could be like,
room.
hello, I can hear you outside the door. Thank you. Quiet on set. Quiet on set. And 3, 2.
Rachel would love that for sure.
That would be great.
That would be really funny. What other jobs have you had other than
Because that's kind of
obviously this one
very
and
particular
then
job.
wedding
Yeah.
dress?
Yeah.
Bella.
So I have done a lot of random things because I would pretty much say yes to any job. I'm a big yes man.
Hell yes.
The first job I ever had was like overnight janitor cleaning. So I would like clean office buildings.
Oh, okay.
And that carried me like through. I was like late middle school to high school. So I started working early to try and like make money because I knew I wanted to go to I went to Emerson College, Zach's alma mater, and that baby's expensive. So I started working early.
Yeah.
And then I got an editing gig with he was like a professor at Philadelphia had a like film school for a while that was outside of Temple. Like Temple has a good film program, but this was like a specific college for it. I think they went debunked. But anyway, he was like a film professor. And so he taught me some editing and I would like edit, again, weddings. And those were awful. Abysmal. So that was my first like toe dip into it. Terrible. Never agree to help people for their weddings. Just never do it.
Do you have any crazy like wedding? Well, because I feel
it's
like
not
it was
even-
Philly.
Yeah,
Is where you were? I feel like weddings are kind of cool over there. Like
It was nice.
Midwestern weddings. I want to see someone get married in Kansas. I want to see what a Nebraska blowout looks like.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
It was all the Philly weddings relatively chill, and I only got footage afterwards. I think I only filmed one wedding on my own, and that was weird because I just didn't know what I was doing. But the first video that I ever edited, I had to do like 16 versions of like their first dance to Brown Eyed Girl, and I can't listen to it anymore. So that's my story with that. Is like I just can't. I used to love that song, and now I'm like I can't.
I feel like it's ruined.
It sucks. I can only see them, and I'm like I can't do this anymore.
Did they need it redone 16 times?
Yeah, they were like, can you like retime this moment better? We want more footage of this person. And I was just like, sure. Like the customer's always right, but I'm doing all the like these minute changes. And I'm just like, it's not going to get any better. You're paying me like $200. And like for context, weddings, like videography, like thousands.
So expensive.
Thousands. I'm doing this for pittance.
Yeah.
Pennies.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was a wild job for a while. And then at college, I did a lot of theater work. I like operated and was I think they called us like tech hands. And I was one of the lead tech hands for the Cabaret Black Box Theater at my college.
Oh, so fun.
It was really nice. I am the fastest at cable wrangling. Cable managing is sort of my thing.
Okay.
The over-under method that's the only way to do it.
You don't do the
No,
Around your
because
arm?
that's the slow way.
awful. It's not even that it's slow. It's just terrible for your cords because, like, inside of a cable, they have like a spin to them, and so when you are rotating it, if you're like holding it like this, it'll get kinks in it and will slowly degrade the cable.
Oh,
That makes
the
sense.
more you know.
Keith
The more
does
you know.
get mad at me when I do that to like lights and stuff. He'll be like, "Why are you wrapping it this way?" And I'll be like, "You should probably do it.
extension
I
cord.
think you're better. I think you're better at this than I
Just
am.
cords all over your house.
Just
now.
do it. Yeah, right." This is an ad by BetterHelp. It seems like we all have more and more stress these days, and one of the biggest sources of our stress comes from the workplace. And it's not really something that you can avoid, but what you can do is find different ways to cope with stress in the workplace. Did you know that workplace stress is now one of the top causes of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce experiencing higher than normal levels of stress? To battle stress, most of us can't just say bye to work. We can't just up and quit, but we can start small and focus on wellness. One thing it's important to not forget is therapy. It can help you navigate whatever changes the workday or really any day might bring. Here You Can Sit With Us, we love therapy. We love having someone to talk to bounce ideas off of, someone who can really be impartial. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. It's convenient too. You can join a session with a therapist at the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/sitwithus. That's betterhelp.com/sitwithus.
But we used to have like races where we would like throw out these like 100-foot cords and then like all line up and have to go as fast as possible. So that was really fun. And I did a lot of lighting work. So that was also some of my favorite to do. And we had like, I got really comfortable being on ladders. And so what I would do, we had this like big truss where all of our lights were hung from. And I would straddle the ladder and I would walk around.
Oh my God, that feels dangerous.
It was. Oh, it super was. They really hated it. They really hated it when we did that. But I was like, I'm not going to climb down, move the ladder a foot, and then get up again. I was like,
Yeah, I see.
just scoot over.
Let me just shimmy on over here.
Right?
But yeah. And then at the same time, I was working the dress store while I was doing that. Because the theater stuff, they like limited your hours. You couldn't like work full time. So I was like, I'm going to have several jobs then.
Right.
So
Yeah.
then I worked that. I was like, I was mostly working the floor at the dress store, but I also, I sew and was like learning from the seamstress how to do alterations. And I did a lot of bead work there. So if you were a prom girl at Grand Asia, I probably fixed your beads. But it was fun. I got a lot of cool dresses out of it though. So that's one of my...
Do you still have them?
I do.
Wow.
I do. And
your
I'm
collection.
mostly fit. A little bit tighter.
Whatever. Just do a little alteration here or there.
Open the back a little. It's fine.
Is that where you sort of like honed your skill of like making your own cosplaying outfits and stuff?
Yeah. It's definitely like that enhanced it for me because I was learning from the seamstress there, and she was so nice, and she would spend time with me like after hours showing me like how the inside of a dress like looked, like all of those pieces that are put together. And she would like let me hem a dress that she would then probably fix after I fucked it up. But anyway, she would let me cut stuff, and then she'd be like, all right, I'll fix this.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was great. She was like
Wow.
a mentor. It was lovely.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, because cosplay is like tough.
It's intense.
It's
Yeah.
I'm
insane.
learning.
It's so elaborate. So many different pieces, so many different modalities, so many different media
Yeah.
into one outfit.
Yeah, that's what I'm learning now is that because the dress store taught me a lot about different fabrics, but in cosplay, like you said, there are things like foam and like hard like polymer plastics that you have to like heat and mold, and I like didn't know anything about that. So that's what I'm like dipping my toes into now, which is really fun but hard. It's
When
very
did you
hard.
start getting into cosplay?
I think my first cosplay that I can remember making was, I want to say, freshman year of high school, freshman or sophomore year. I made, I don't know if you guys have ever played like Final Fantasy games or anything like that.
I've seen them.
There's a little character called a Moogle, and he's like almost like a plushie. Like I have a plushie of a Moogle, and I made an outfit that's like all white and purple wings, and they have like a little antenna. And that was my very first cosplay. It was super cute. I really was very proud of it, even though I pulled it together. Like I found stuff at Goodwill, and I took a wire hanger to like make the wings, and then fitted the fabric around it. I was so proud of it. And I remember meeting, there's this voice actor named Robbie Damon who he's done a lot of voice acting, and he also works for Critical Role, which is another D&D show.
Is that the Dropout one?
The Dropout people and Critical Role do a lot of like
crossover stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Critical Role is like they've been doing D&D for like 15 years now.
Wow.
Like on Twitch. But so Robbie Damon, he is a voice actor, and he would go to cons, and I met him, and the one memory that I have is like we took a picture, and then maybe 2 or 3 hours later we crossed paths at the con. He was like, the Moogle, and because he had like played somebody in a Final Fantasy game, and he was just really excited to see me again. I was like, you remember who I am? Anyway, it was that's the fun about cosplay. It was great. I loved it.
Do you go to a lot of conventions other than Comic-Con?
I do. Anime Expo is coming up, and I plan on going. Dana, who also works here, she does more cosplay than I do, and I'm like learning a lot from her right now. But we were planning on going to Anime Expo this year, and we went last year, and it was really fun.
Oh, cool.
She has like a lot of cool. I don't know if you guys have watched Arcane on Netflix, but highly recommend it. You should. It's like
Eugene is watching.
It's a gorgeous anime.
Eugene talked about
it. Yeah, it's gorgeous. I really love it. But Dana has like a Vi cosplay, who's one of the main characters, and it's stunning. She does like excellent work. She like weathers everything, and it looks really cool. So yeah, we plan on going this year. I have a couple cosplay ideas that I'm working on, but I haven't really put any time into it. I really should probably. It's coming up, but I'm excited.
What's your favorite convention to go to? Like who's got the best vibes? If you could only go to one.
It's not that it's the best one, but it's the one that I went to the most. And so I have very fond memories of the Boston Anime Convention.
Okay.
That was like really like college formative years because I could take the train to it. And you would just see people in these ridiculous costumes, like enormous swords, but on Boston public transit. Right. Really funny. And then going there was just so much fun. And I was part of like the anime club. And it was really cool to go there with like a bunch of kids that I knew, and we would like, because it's when you're younger and you're going with like a group of friends, that's something like I didn't know a lot of kids that were into anime and like, and these cartoons and these shows. So I didn't like go when I was much younger. So this was like the first time that I had like a group.
That's so fun.
And it was cool. It was great to like walk around with people and like, see things and go to the panels and learn stuff. It's cool. It's really fun. Highly recommend. If you ever
I've never been. There was a big one in Chicago that I'm going to mess up the name of. It's not C-3PO, because that's a robot. D2?
E3?
Look it up.
It could be
Look
E3.
it up.
3, 4, 5, 7, 9.
But maybe it is E.
There's E3, which is sort of, it's like a convention, but I think that's more video games. I'm gonna fuck this up too, and that's extra embarrassing as a fan. But there's also like PAX, but I don't think that's in Chicago.
I think it's ASEN. That makes sense.
No, it's not ASEN.
No
I know a lot of people who dress up like Doctor Who.
Okay.
So I know a lot of Who people. I'm just gonna go to this person's Instagram.
Hell yeah.
And we're gonna
Just
get
find
it.
it.
We're
there are
gonna find
lots
it.
of like so I go to a lot of anime conventions, but there are also a lot of just like other nerd conventions that there are so many. I couldn't tell you all the names, but that's if it's got a lot of Doctor Who fans, it's probably something more.
I was gonna say it's got a lot of Doctor Who people, or maybe they're just Doctor Who people.
I've been thinking about finally watching Doctor Who. I feel like that would be a tremendous amount of time.
You know what's darling? The new one on Disney Plus.
Have you seen it?
Oh my God, we love
it.
it. We haven't watched the new season, but Judy, the main doctor now. I mean, he's great in Sex Education, but
oh, cool.
He's so darling. Everything about him is darling. I'm like, I love you. You're my favorite.
Darling.
It's really cute. The old one like kind of scared me.
That's kind of what I liked about it.
Yeah. And there was an energy because after we watched it, I was like, oh, let's go back and watch the original ones. And he's like, you know, the original ones are from like the 70s.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fine, whatever, let's watch it. And first episode we watched was like these mannequins that came to life.
Gonna tell
and
you
I was like,
You're like, too real.
I was
Too
like,
real.
I don't
Too
like
real.
this one. And I've seen the Don't Blink one because
the
everybody's
statues are
like,
always
you can watch
terrifying.
that on your own.
Yeah.
I'm going to find it. Somebody in the comments knows what this nerd convention
Hit us
is.
up in the comments.
Sound off. Sound off.
I mean, you have a lot of different skills.
Thank you.
A lot of different
I'm
things that you know. But one of the other
Eclectic.
things that we've been told is you know a lot about survival tactics.
That's true.
How? Why? What
Tell
inspired
us
it?
more.
How did you have a job that made you need to survive?
My job, my life, perhaps. My parents are like weird preppers, and they'll never watch
okay.
this, so I can kind of talk about it. It's fine.
They're like legit, like
They
preppers?
yes,
Proper preppers?
maybe
preppers.
I feel like they're not so proper prepper as to have like a bunker, like you know,
with
like
no location that none of their friends know about.
right. They're not so extreme, but they have always been like, you should know like how to survive in the wilderness if you get lost. You need because my mom was also like a Girl Scout. I was a Girl Scout since I was 6 weeks old, actually, which is an odd story.
That's very young.
That's
Just
very
started.
young.
Yeah,
Very
Did you get your badges for like finished her bottle today?
Right?
Slept for a long stretch.
Oh, I wish. My mom was she was like a troop leader and she had me, but then had to go on this trip, but like needed to bring me because I was an infant. And they were like, you can't technically bring somebody that's not a Girl Scout. They were being
I see.
oddly stringent about this. And they were like, okay, we'll register her, I guess. So that's how I was like a Girl Scout so early.
That's so
It was
funny.
strange. But so she was always like, you should be ready for like camping and wilderness stuff. And then my dad also was like big into hunting and trapping. And so he also like had a stint in the army and like learned how to do like a lot of survival stuff there. And he brought it all home. And so backyard time was like learning how to harvest rainwater from tents, like if we needed to, or like how to start a fire. I'm really good at that. And a lot of like, I took like a hunting and trapping course. I do like a lot of archery. And so I can hunt with that. And a lot of like, it's really good. And like learning how to discern different plants to know what you can eat and stuff. So a lot of things that are really useful. And I really enjoyed learning them. I haven't really gotten to put them much into practice, thankfully.
I was saying maybe that's a good thing.
We're probably like 20 years away from the Hunger Games.
I know, that's
being
kinda what I
real.
like.
So like you would
Time to refresh.
rush.
Yes.
You would be
Thank you.
Yes.
you'd be the district sweetheart.
I would love to. I would not that those like the Hunger Games and all apocalypse things. I would be so sad if they happened, but truly I would be in my element. And I hate
You
to
would thrive.
I
You would
truly
thrive.
You'd be Nick
I would love
Offerman in The Last of Us. You'd be like, this is my house.
Exactly.
You cannot paint a store.
Yep.
Because we
Right.
are not inviting friends over.
Yeah.
We're going to have our little nest.
This is
and we're going to die together. That episode still makes me...
I know. So sad.
I just rewatched part of Last of Us with my mom.
Aw.
It's so good.
brutal. It's
I
It's
wouldn't
good.
make it. I would need to like leech. Like I could be your parasite. I don't know that I would have a lot of skills that I could bring to you other than
They still have communities.
charisma.
that's important.
Like I feel like I
Personality
could,
higher
you'd be
than yours.
surprised.
Yeah.
Personality.
you would be
always
like
have
the diplomat.
fun.
You could be the
Yeah.
person who we like send to talk to places.
Yeah. And they
The
could
messenger.
also, I could go over to the places and they'd be like, okay, these girlies
can.
are not, they're not going to
not a
attack us
threat.
and steal all our food.
Sure, you're the front man.
Yeah. And then you would come in and be like, pew, 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 with your bow and arrow.
Mercilessly destroy them.
Yes.
Steal all their
Okay,
stuff.
wait, I'm into this.
I'm
We'll
not
plan
opposed.
our own secret bunker.
Sounds good. Sounds so good.
Did you do a lot of camping as a kid?
We did a lot. A lot of like Girl Scout camping is like drive up to a spot and like put your tent down. Or honestly, it was really cool to do like log cabin camping. That was like that.
yeah.
We would always feel like, oh, this is bougie. But lately, I've been doing more like backpacking and
Okay.
going
Oh,
further,
cool.
like into the wilderness and stuff, which has been great. Scary.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. I don't know. This isn't even really a story about me, but I don't know if you guys ever got back to you, but my partner James, he was backpacking by himself in Sequoia and he fell off a waterfall. Did I ever tell you guys about this?
No.
He fell off a cliff.
Feels very scary.
Yeah, no, it was terrifying.
my
I had to go get
God.
him. That's why.
I had to go get him.
You had to pick him up from the bottom of the waterfall?
So he was camping by himself and he didn't have a satellite phone, which now he does have.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
he was camping and he had taken off his boots to like there's like a little river where he was, and so he stepped into the river to cool off his feet after hiking, and the rocks were too slippery and he slipped. And the current was like strong because we had gotten like rain and the snow in Sequoia this year, and it carried him over the edge of the waterfall and he fell 5 stories.
Is he
Were his
okay?
bones okay?
He's alive.
I was
Is he
like, we
okay?
saw him at the holiday party. He was walking.
He's alive. He's alive. Somehow he managed to not break any bones.
Wow.
He was heavily bruised, but the only thing that he got was he got a big scar. He cut his
Wow.
forehead open, but
Jesus.
survived. No concussion, no anything. Like he was so lucky.
Yeah.
But he fell. When he hit the bottom, thankfully there was like enough water to cushion him as well.
Right.
So I was
Yeah.
grateful for that.
Deep enough.
Deep enough, and he doesn't remember the fall, so we're not sure if he like, you know, when you're in a hyper fight or flight.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes apparently, even if you're awake, like the memory doesn't write itself into your memory. Like you just completely forget. So he was either awake or he completely passed out. He's still not sure, but he fell over, doesn't remember the fall, was woken up by the splash at the bottom, and
Oh
then
my God, that'd be so frightening. You wake up and it's like in water.
when I picked him up, I'd never heard somebody whose like lungs were full of water before. It was weird. He was fine, thankfully, like no pneumonia or anything.
Yeah.
But like he was like talking very nasally. It was very like jarring.
That's horrible.
to hear.
That's so scary.
Yeah. So he
Frightening.
hit the water, woke up and like swam out, and he was all right. But then he had to climb back up with no shoes on because he like
No shoes.
was stuck, and there was
Lungs full of water.
yeah, and he's at the bottom of a waterfall and nobody like knows he's there. So he climbed back up. He took a very long winding. He wasn't trying to like steeply climb, but
Yeah, he wasn't scrambling up.
yeah,
he was
yeah.
in Mission Impossible, like
Rock climbing.
cliffhanger climbing.
Oh my God, that's frightening.
yeah. And then he had to stay the night because it was already dark, and he had like set up camp, and he was like, well, I'm not gonna try and like find my way out of this place in the pitch black
Yeah,
with
that's so dangerous.
possibly a concussion. So he just like hunkered down, tried to clean his wound as best he could, set a bunch of alarms in case he
I was
did
about
have
to
a
say
concussion.
not to fall asleep.
Yeah. So he stayed the night, woke up, packed up, hiked out himself, past people who like certainly saw him covered in blood and did nothing, by the way.
Jesus.
And then
I mean, I'm not saying I would have done that. I might have like made a beat, like ran away. Like if a man,
Honestly,
a
I
bloody
guess you're
man
right.
was walking past me, I'd be like,
But they're probably also walking in as he's walking out. So it's like they're going into the trouble. You know?
that's true. They were like, what the fuck is on this hike?
That's true.
Matt and I did a little hike in Santa Barbara once, and
Yeah,
it
that's
was like
pretty-
we were like sweating on the way up, but like these like 70-year-old people were coming down,
And they looked-
and every time we passed someone, I was like, well, if they could fucking do it. So I'm just imagining that same like
Pretty much.
energy of them walking by and being like, wow, he's really playing.
Steals myself to fight a boar or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, he
Like, what's the
got
final
all the way
boss?
out and found rangers, and they took him to the hospital. And then he called me and he was like, hey, don't be mad. And then I
gosh.
drove and I picked him
Right.
up. And he had, I think he had 8 stitches. I think he had 8 stitches in his forehead.
Wow.
And that's the story. Anyway.
Is that the last
Jesus.
time he went camping alone? Or no?
He hasn't gone camping alone since. He's not giving it up. I don't think that he should. He's just
No.
going to be taking much better precautions
Yeah,
this
yeah,
time.
Yeah.
But yeah, he took a long hiatus.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe not again. Have you watched 127 Hours? You've never seen that one?
No.
Oh my God, it's based on a true story. I read the guy's book.
Wait, is this the dude that
Yeah.
chopped his leg?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Arm, his arm.
Or sorry, his arm.
Yeah. But what was crazy is, so if people don't know the story, this guy went out by himself. He went, I don't know what you call it when you go through like very narrow caves, not
Spelunking.
caves, but
Oh.
Bas-
yeah, basically they're like I don't know what are not craters.
They're like the
but they're
crevasses, right?
Yes,
Like
and so
in
he was going
Arizona
in
and
like
stuff.
real squeezy places, and he falls and he gets stuck, and his arm gets stuck.
No thanks.
And they don't say, because the one weird thing about the case was that he did not allow any like pictures, or like his medical records are like sealed from the hospital.
Yeah.
So the working theory is that he nibbled his arm off instead of what we saw in the movie, which was he cut his own arm off because he was stuck in there for 127 hours.
I don't know why you would be like ashamed of that. Or maybe he's not ashamed, but like
That's kind of what I thought too.
Of course you bit through your arm. That's,
Yeah.
I'm honestly more impressed that you did that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe there's like a level of shame that there's like cannibalism or
Yeah, an
some,
aspect of it.
Self-cannibalism.
yeah. But I find that more impressive, I guess. Like, I would be like, I don't know. I could probably cut my arm off. I don't know if I could chew through my own arm. That would be crazy.
I don't know if I could do. Yeah, I don't think I'd have.
I don't
it.
want to.
I wouldn't have it in me.
I don't
But
want
he's
to.
very religious. That's what the book was. He really enjoys Jesus. So I don't know if that's an element of why you wouldn't want people to know you ate your own arm. Or maybe he didn't eat it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it was 127 hours.
I gotta say, I was raised heavily Catholic. I don't remember, and so maybe I've just forgotten over the years. But like, I don't remember cannibalism like being technically a sin.
Yeah.
Tell me if I'm wrong.
Definitely not one of the 10 Commandments.
I don't think it's one of those for
It's
sure.
I don't think it's in there.
So like
It's definitely not.
technicality.
But I saw that movie and was like, I mean, shocked to no one. I wasn't really into camping or hiking before.
Yeah.
Well, hiking, but not. I don't stay overnight anywhere.
Sure.
I'll hike a couple hours. But after I saw that, I was like,
That's brutal.
it's not for me. I
Wow.
don't want to be alone.
I watch too many like
not alone.
cave adventure YouTubing, like
Oh.
the worst,
My
like
gosh.
getting stuck in a shaft mine.
Eugene watches those too. And I'm like, why are you watching
I don't
this?
know
This is so frightening.
It's
Why do you?
So scary.
Cool. I don't know why it's so interesting to watch and like be disturbed by it. Like I think
Like
it's
people get stuck.
so frightening.
Yeah, do you watch the positive
They
ones
die.
or the ones like
I watch the ones
where
that
that
people
guy
are, like,
went
done for.
upside down and
Yeah.
then they had to close him in?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just think that they're interesting, and I like wish I didn't like them. But I'm like, you know what I should watch before bed? This. And
Give me sweet dreams of comfort.
I fall asleep to like these terrifying stories. I don't know.
That
why.
is
Eugene watches those, and then he also watches reenactments of shipwrecks in real time.
That's really neat.
You know what I mean? So it's like
Fascinating.
famous shipwrecks,
Okay.
and people reenact, like do like animated versions of them.
That's cool.
that
And
makes
then
sense.
because a lot of them happen fast, like in 20 minutes or something.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
watching like a 20-minute video of like how everything happened.
Yeah, how it all
That's kind of
unfolded.
cool, actually.
Yeah.
I would
I think
watch
that's
that.
neat.
And then at the end, it's like 15,000 people died.
And you're like, oh no. I mean, it is cool because there's no like videos of that kind of stuff happening, especially like the old ones. We were talking last time
Yeah.
about the Titanic.
We love Titanic.
Have you seen the new stuff coming out? I'm not going to rehash it for the pod, but I'll send you some TikToks
Yes,
later.
please. Yes, please.
It's cool.
What could be
They just
new?
took more pictures than they've ever had before.
Oh,
So they're
okay.
able to make these big scale recreations.
Oh, I see.
And within the next like 20 to 50 years or something, most of the bacteria under the sea is going to eat away at a lot of aspects of the
That's
the
crazy.
shipwreck. So
And
like
it's filling in the
Gonna be gone.
story too. It's
and they're kind of getting like
crazy.
the timeline of like
That's
what things
neat.
were going on, and like this one guy maybe is now vindicated because everyone thought that he killed himself, but really it showed that he more likely than not was still telling people where to go and what to do and like helping
Cool.
keep the lights on so that so that they're like not telegrams but they're electric signals communiques could still be gone
Yeah.
through.
Wow.
Crazy.
Getting the lifeboats down. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just,
I told you it was cool.
That's true. That's really cool.
Sending Rainie, I'm like, here's another Titanic TikTok.
I love ships. I think they're so cool. I once, this was a Girl Scout trip actually. I once like sailed a ship. Like I did like the like the jib work, and we were like doing all the
Girl Scouts were way
they were
cooler
crazy.
than my Girl Scouts. I was like, I think we stayed overnight in a log cabin
You're like,
once.
do you want a cookie?
And then we hawked cookies at people.
I will say we had a really great leader who like spent time doing tons of research and finding great
That's
stuff for us to do. So it was so
cool.
cool. It was a blast. I learned, so we had a schooner in the Chesapeake Bay.
Wow. Sounds
neat.
beautiful.
It was really
That's
cool.
dope.
Yeah, it was sick.
Yeah.
That is a cool shout out to that.
Shout out Girl Scout leaders.
Yeah, Girl Scout leader.
Thanks-
Do you remember
thanks,
your
Miss
troop name?
Janella.
Troop
Yeah.
number? No.
I don't
yeah,
remember.
what's your?
I don't remember what. I feel like my troop number was like 9856. I think I made that up, but that might be right. I'm trying to picture. I had a green sash, and I'm picturing the numbers. I think that's right, but I could be wrong.
Shout out.
It's been years.
Shout out
Shout
Girl
out to the troop.
Scouts. Were you
Shout out
ever
to
a
the
brownie?
Yes, I was all of them. There's Daisy, Brownie, Junior. Oh God, juniors, cadets.
Whoa,
Seniors.
cadets.
I think those are the 5. I could be wrong. And then like technically I never paid to become like a lifer Girl Scout.
Okay.
And I think I was like this close to doing it, and you get like a discount at Joann's if you're a lifer. And now Joann's
Now
is gone.
Joann's is,
So I was like,
too
no.
many Girl Scouts were coming in getting their lifer discount. Joanne didn't have enough
They
money.
single-handedly put Joanne's under. Those Girl Scouts.
Those hacking
We're
Girl
so sorry.
Scouts.
I'm so sorry, Joanne. I literally, that was like the one thing that was like, I mean, I should probably do that. I'll go to Joann's.
Yeah.
And now Joann's is gone. So I'm like,
Joe. Poor Joe.
I feel really bad.
Poor Joe. Look at what you did.
Crazy Girl Scout.
Well, we have some questions for you, MJ.
I have answers.
So I don't really know what this means
I
because
knew
I don't
you
do any
wouldn't.
D&D stuff.
I knew
But
you wouldn't.
MJ, if you had to pick a D&D class or subclass for Becky, Matt, and Rainie, what would they be and why?
I feel like I did think about this a little bit. I feel like I'll start with Rainie.
Wait, you thought about this already?
Yeah, of course. I went on you think I didn't peek the Discord?
Yeah, right.
Don't you think I didn't
Peek at
want
the
to be
Discord.
ready?
That's
Rainie,
good thinking.
Do you know how many
like,
She's
D&D
a Girl Scout, okay? She is going
Girl
to be
Scouts are
prepared.
always
A
prepared.
Girl Scout prepper.
I just want to say, do you know how many like D&D classes there are? I had to do research at a time because I would have been like, I don't know, and then scrolling on my phone. So I think my thought process for starting with you, Rainie,
Okay.
I think that you would be a barbarian. I think that would be really.
Excuse me.
She said that to your face. I did her whole.
And I mean it.
You look like a barbarian, is what she's saying.
You
Wow.
would actually be a barbarian. Okay.
I think that barbarians are a really great fighting class. And I feel like you have like the athleticism.
Okay.
And I
That's
feel like
true.
if you let your rage out, you would be like unstoppable.
Wow. Okay, that took a great
That's
turn.
Thank you.
I was worried for a second.
Thank you. No, because there are other like fighting classes. I feel like you definitely give fighting to me, but like a basic fighter is kind of like, it's not that they're lame. My first character was a fighter. They're fun, but like a barbarian, it's vicious.
Well, thank
Wow.
you. I actually love that.
Yeah.
That has inspired me for the rest of my day.
Rainie the barbarian.
I feel seen because I feel like some people think I'm just like ditzy, like and I'm like, no, I'm kind of intense.
No, I'm kind of a barbarian.
No, I'm kind of a barbarian.
And you know,
barbarian.
Yeah.
I have been talking to you guys about doing like another
Yes.
D&D game. So if you
Yes.
want help making a barbarian character,
I certainly do.
Whoa.
I do.
Did you participate in the first D&D?
No, I think it was a scheduling thing, or maybe it was a
Yeah.
bit the group. I think it was like there are too many people, and I couldn't make the day, so it was like okay.
Yeah.
the
we're
very
not gonna
first
reschedule.
D&D game that I did was like an after work thing. I did it on the weekend, didn't tell anybody that I was coming to use the office. So I came
I love
in
it.
with it was Will, Devin, and Jack was my somebody else. Will, Devin, Jack,
Jonathan?
and Jonathan. They were like the crew, and we were in the conference room, and Keith came
I was
by.
about to say, I think it was when we came by once.
Yeah.
I was
You
like,
guys
they're
came-
we come to get snacks sometimes. If we're in the neighborhood, I'm like, could we just stop by and get like a Red Bull or
You're like, I need a seltzer.
But you guys like popped in, and I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. I didn't tell anybody I was going to be there, but I have keys to the office, and I was told once that I can come in whenever I feel like it. So I think it's fine. But anyway, you guys showed up, and also Eugene showed up. He popped in randomly,
Random.
and I was like,
Weird.
he like filmed a video. I don't know what happened to that. He just like recorded and then left.
He's got it in his phone. He watches it before bed sometimes, helps him fall asleep.
He's like, look how cute. You're all getting along.
So that was what started my like D&D time of just doing it for fun, and then
Yeah.
it tripped into Die Guys because Keith remembered that I did it. But so that's who I think you are. I feel like for you,
I'm ready. I'm in.
you give me real like druid energy.
Ooh,
I
druid
feel-
spells.
watch Star Wars. A druid.
No, druids and Star Wars are different.
Okay.
Druid. I feel like for you, it might be. I won't lie. There is like a physical aspect of like having green eyes always makes me think of druid.
Okay.
I'll say that. But like druids can do wild shapes, so you can transform into like vicious animals if you want to.
Wow.
And they're like
She's already vicious.
they like can commune with nature and can do really cool things. You could be a giant
yeah.
eagle. You could be an owl bear if you wanted to.
I could be Animorphs.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
And
Or
they're
that
really
one
cool.
season of Magicians. Could be wolves.
I'm a big fan of druids. They are slept on, but actually like crazy powerful. Especially like when you get into like later leveling up, you are like really
Okay.
like it can be vicious.
Wow.
So that's my. I feel like that.
Becky the Druid.
Come at me, bro.
Come at me,
Come at me.
bro.
You want to come at me? I'm a giant eagle.
And Matt, I do feel like
Oh, no.
She's gonna make you evil.
Oh, no.
Evil for sure. I feel like you're the Satan character.
I would never say such a thing on camera. I feel like you to me, and this is like honestly one of my favorite classes. This is true to me. I
Wow.
She
feel
says
like
it to everyone.
I feel like you give off rogue energy.
Rogue energy.
I feel like
Rogue.
rogues
I
are
always go rogue in games, actually.
That is
Throughout
true.
the drama of the game.
rogues are like you're tricksters and you're thieves and you're like
Oh, that for sure.
clandestine. But they get, you're great with a lockpick. You are always very fast on the attack. You can do sneak attacks, and those
Ooh, sneak attack.
especially late in game, really stack. Like they can be some of the most
rogue.
powerful. Like if you get a rogue hitting a sneak attack prior to battle, like you can one hit kill people. Like it's
Wow.
really like. They can be very strong, despite being like not a fighter or a barbarian or anything like that. I really like rogues.
Tricky.
Yeah, tricky.
Trickster.
It makes sense.
They're usually the very charismatic ones too. Often,
That makes sense, Becky. That's why.
so a lot of times rogues are the ones who like to like do the talking and try and like get one over on people. So that's
Pretend diplomacy.
yeah.
That makes sense.
That's my those were my initial reads. I feel like
Wow.
I think that could be fun.
I love it.
But also the beauty of D&D, not to pitch, is that you can be anything. So if you didn't want to
Switch
be
around.
if you were a rogue but you wanted to be like a really like upstanding citizen, there are ways to like play that in the game and then have it be a really interesting character dynamic. Or if you wanted to be a druid that like hated bugs, hated nature, that could be like a
It's not
funny
too far off.
bit. Like there are so
Deathly
many
afraid of bugs.
there are really cool like ways that you can go about taking a basic archetype and then really zhuzhing it up with like a new trait or like throwing in like
Personality.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's so
fun.
fun to build a character from that.
I just saw the clip on TikTok, which I'm sure you've seen. It's so good. Is the Daredevil folks talking about, I don't know what her name is, but the redhead from Daredevil. She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. She's so pretty.
I'm so bad.
But yeah, she's on Daredevil and she was talking with John, something with a B. The brother
John
from
Beeman.
the brother from the bear.
It's a great story.
Brother bear.
Brother bear. The brother from the bear. And she was like, do you want to play D&D? And he's like, okay, yeah, one day. And she's like, no, we'll play right now. And she like has all these really great questions and like explains it in a way that I was like, okay, that sounds fun. Because sometimes when people talk about it, I'm like, I just don't think it's for me. I don't play
Just goes
many
over your
games
head, my
either.
head, yeah.
Yeah. But I liked the way that she talked about it as being like, the point isn't to win, it's to just tell a really good story.
That is absolutely
And
the
I
point.
think that was really cool because also if you play any game with Matt, the goal is
Be a
never
little-
to win. The goal is never to win.
No.
Have you ever played a game
It's
where
to
you
have
have
a
to
good
like
time, Becky.
where
It's
you
to
have
have
to
a good time.
lie or you have to be on one team or another? Well, what if you had a player that decided, no,
Caution to the wind.
I might be a good guy, but what if I just pretended I was a bad guy the whole time for no reason at all?
Honestly, you would be so good at D&D. If that is how you play, you'd love D&D. It's
Hidden secrets. Wait, what class are you normally when you play? Do you always do the same?
I change it up, especially now that I'm doing more dungeon master work where I'm every character.
Yeah.
I can be a lot of things. So it's been really fun to approach different characters as like NPCs for other people to talk to. I think that like
non-player characters, Matt.
I think that
Translating.
I think that I always am drawn towards like a bard character. I think those are always really fun. Specifically like a glamour bard. That's like a specific subclass that has like a lot of arcane illusions and can make they're just kind of like the rock stars of the fantasy world, and that's what I always think is really fun to play. But like I said, rogues are one that I've always fallen back on. That's like I like to hold back, figure things out, and then do like long range shots because I'm not often like really tanky and trying to be like in the mix of battle. But when I do feel like that, I have been trying to do more. I think paladins are really interesting. Paladins are like they're like a religious fighter, which I think is cool in the context of the game. In the context of the game. Just because like the gods and the pantheon in D&D, you can choose whatever you want. Like you don't have to. This is the cool part about these types of games is like you don't have to do what they give you in like the books. You know, like if I say my god is a rubber ducky and he's the god of storms, like that's my god, and then I can decide that my paladin is like so intense about that, and he's like, you know, his sword is like a lifeguard floaty, and he's like a lunatic. He's like, no one will drown on my watch. Like those are really funny things that I like to bring. And paladins are like intense and like usually they're very fun to play when you are like focused on a god and you want to bring that into the world. Like that's why I like paladins, is because you don't have to play them strict, but like I like it when they're crazy kind of like zealots and they're like
more extreme.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's how I like to play them. And then they're tanky and they're always running into battle like for Sir Quacks-a-Lot. Like, you know, I think that's really funny. Those are my guys.
What's the longest campaign you've been a part of?
Honestly, so many of mine have fallen apart.
They've died before the end.
It's really hard to like keep a group together. I think that the longest I've ever I play a lot of one shots, and those are intended to like wrap up quickly. I frankly the longest D&D game is probably the Die Guys. Genuinely, that like I know it took place technically over 2 days, but like we did so many sessions within that. Like probably the Die Guys is the longest game I've ever played, except for I can think of there's a D&D convention that takes place at Princeton, and they have like it's like a 46-hour long D&D game, and you don't stop. Like I took one nap the entire 46 hours. Like I played the entire time.
How many people were in it?
Hundreds. That's what's crazy. So this is the way that this is like built up is it's not like all of us playing at once, but everybody's playing in the same world. And there are a bunch of different smaller groups that are taking place and doing like their own little stories. But there's an overarching narrative where it's like the one that I played was it was the Grand Menagerie, and we were all trying to find like a bunch of cool creatures to bring and give to the gods at the end of a year. And so like the morning was spring, and then the afternoon was summer, and like so we did cool. seasons over a full year, and it was crazy. I could talk so long about this, so I'm gonna keep it very brief. But like I had so much fun doing that because very specifically we had a total party kill. My team, all of us died, and then we had to re-roll care. We all got they called them epic deaths in the context of this game. So we got to roll new characters and not lose levels, and then our new characters went and saved our old characters. And it was also in like a casino that was in a pocket dimension. The details were strange.
Okay, Percy Jackson.
It was so cool. It was really, really neat. And we had to do so much prep work. I have pictures on my phone from way back of like this giant board where we were like planning this heist like down to the spell slot. It was crazy how intense it was. And then we somehow managed it, and long story short, we had to fuse all of ourselves together into one like massive ball of flesh and like banish ourselves from the dimension that we were in out of it into the real world. And then we were still a ball of flesh, and there was like a chance we had to like roll to see if we would land in the ocean so that we would survive, because if we like hit the ground, we would have all died. So we had to roll that percentage. And then we had to find one person in a different group, like a different team, who had the very specific spell that we needed to blast us all apart. Because none of us had it. We were just like, somebody here on this earth has got to have it. So our DM made us all link arms and walk around like the place that we were at, like begging people, like, please, do you have this spell? It was a blast. Anyway.
Complicated.
Matt, are you going to play one day?
Maybe one day.
You think you'd be into it? Did you watch the movie?
Oh,
yes, I did watch the movie.
I thought the movie was so cute.
Why
Why is there not another one?
I really want there to be. I think
come on.
It was
Chris Pine needs some work.
He does.
Let's go. He's got a
If you
mortgage.
guys ever want to DM anything for you.
Work.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the other questions people want to know, is they'd love to hear more about your process, about being DM.
Every DM's process is different. And mine, I am still trying to like figure out, I think. It's hard because I'm sort of learning as I go. And I feel like I'm trying really hard not to do this, but it's difficult to not compare myself to people who are like performing and have been doing tabletop games for like years, like Brennan Lee Mulligan, Matt Mercer. They're like big names in D&D, and they're like, I don't want to call myself their peer because that feels crazy, but kind of like, because we're in the same space. And so whenever I'm thinking about my process, I try and divorce myself from them, because they're like heavy improvers and heavy, one of them is a heavy improver and one of them is a heavy notes person. And so I'm somewhere in between where I try and have like a really sturdy basis of my notes. So I'm doing, because honestly, my favorite part is like doing the research for the world and like writing up fun descriptions and being very like, I don't know, getting into the space and into the world. And I love doing all of the tiny detail work. But I always know that if I do that too much, my players will blast it apart. So I've learned to do that as much as I can for the fun of it, and so that I have a basis that I can fall back on. And then I try and leave everything else up to the wind. I have like, I always have like a couple tabs open that are randomizers for things. For like, if I need a new character, I can grab a quick name and a quick class and like a race and like a body build. And then I'm like, okay, let me come up with a voice and then try and jump into it. It's been a really fun challenge to try and be like that type of improver, but I'm not fully relying on it because I have all my notes to keep me safe. So that's like the gist of it is like, I get an idea, write out a quick outline, and then just spend time like going through all of the Wikipedia articles on like different Dungeons and Dragons things. Because I always am like, what I want to figure out like what city it's based in, and it doesn't have to be one that's real in the lore of D&D. But sometimes it's great to like pull one, and then that's sort of what I did for Try Guys. Is Ireabor is a place in Faerun, which is like the world of D&D, but it's already like exploded past anything that like Ireabor is like a small town, and in the way that it is now in our game is like it's a big city. It's got like a high tier top part that in my mind like floats above the lower city. So there's already like things that have exploded past. And yeah, it's just a lot of like finding all those things, writing them down, trying to keep an organized document, and then
it's a lot to do at once.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's wild to try and keep it all in my brain. I think that I seem competent when we're playing the game, but I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck did I write? What did I say? What did I do? Like it's a lot to keep track of all at once at one time. It's wild. And that's why I just sort of sometimes if a bit is running long in the Try Guys, it's actually because on my camera, I'm like, what the fuck was that? What was I talking about? So I just let them go.
Does recording it add an extra layer that makes you a little more nervous than when you're doing it in like for funsies?
I feel like I forget about the cameras after about 30 minutes, which was Honestly, for the best. I was like nervous for a second, and then I was like, I literally don't have the brain capacity to be nervous right now. So I'm not even thinking about it. It does. I'm thinking about it in the sense though that like I'm hoping for good bits for camera, and I'm trying to always perform angled towards camera a little bit, but that's about it. Like I think once I started playing in the space with everybody and they were all comfortable and I could tell that they were having real fun, it like melted away all of my anxiety, and then it just felt like playing. Yeah. So that was what was great. I
feel like that's what you can see when you watch like the episode. That's like, even though not everyone's played before, it seemed like everyone did at least. You know,
honestly,
it was like there was a good flow.
And you know what? Every time we had to look up a rule, we were like, cut that shit.
Yeah, that's also the joy of doing that. You'd be like, wait, that didn't make sense. Go back.
The editor, Sam, he also, I asked him to like be there as my like rules czar. So that was also really helpful. And I don't know if everybody does that, but like, it's really great to have somebody who I'm like, I'm gonna do a quick joke, Sam. Could you look up if like the rules for grappling again? And then we have a quick dialogue, and then we can jump straight back into it. So I think we've tried really hard to make it seem decently streamlined, but also feel like a meandering romp in the fun world. You know, like
natural.
Yeah. I think it came across pretty well like that.
Yeah, people love it. If you watch the first season of Die Guys and you want a second season, make sure you're shouting that out from the rooftops. But if you haven't watched it, make sure you're subscribed to Second Try so you can get all the cool new content and watch the full season of Die Guys. Because that one is not on YouTube either, right?
Nope, it's not.
It's a Second Try exclusive. So if you want to watch it, you got to go there. We asked this question to YB when she was on. Do you prefer editing yourself or having someone else edit you? Because you mentioned someone else edits Die Guys.
Yeah, I definitely prefer somebody else.
That's so funny because YB was like, I want to do it because she likes to have that
the control
of it. Yeah,
she was like there and she knows exactly how she's going to do it.
Yeah, that story's already in her head.
That makes sense. If it were like a movie or if it were some type of like scripted piece, I would probably want to do it because I would know which performance of mine felt the best. But because so much of Die Guys is just like, I know I'm going to look silly. I know I'm going to, like, we all are looking as goofy as possible.
Right.
When I'm doing like Ergak's voice, I'm not going to look hot. I'm not going to look nice. So it's better that somebody else does it and just makes it as funny as possible. So I'm not focused on like, trying to make sure I like look good. I think that's the difference for me is like if it were scripted, I would care. But this, we're just having fun.
This person wants to know everyone's go-to orders at a Mexican restaurant or taco truck. They say it says a lot about your personality.
I'm so basic.
I mean, at a Mexican restaurant, there's just so much choice. Like, what do you choose?
You don't have a go-to? You don't have a go-to? You don't
I actually usually do some type of tacos. Because usually they're like a place to like specialize in something that's like really good. Like some type of tacos. So I usually try to get tacos. But I don't like the whole platter. I just want the tacos themselves.
You just like tacos?
A la carte.
I'm in a really similar boat. I really just like a good taco because in the way that this order says a lot about me, the taco of a place says a lot about the place.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
That's true.
That's my feeling.
Very profound.
For sure.
I also love a good shrimp taco. A shrimp taco is where it's at. That if they do that right, then I know that it's a good place.
Have you ever been to Best Fish Taco in Ensenada in Los Feliz?
Oh.
This place, I didn't know that it was like super popular because when Keith first moved here, Groupon was still really big and they had a Groupon that was like
Groupon era.
Right? Groupon era. I was coming to visit.
Throwback.
We had no car, so everything we did had to be close, like walking distance. Best Fish Taco. I still go to Best Fish Taco in Ensenada. They do
That's the name
an
of the place.
amazing
Best Fish Taco in Ensenada.
Yeah, they do an amazing shrimp taco, an amazing fish taco, and they have really good like salsas and toppings and stuff. And that's all that they do. There's like maybe like they do potato tacos too that I really like.
Okay.
But I would definitely check that out.
Good tip. I am interested.
Taki tacos.
That's crazy that you
What do you like
go in
chimichanga? You want
free
the enchiladas?
free flowing with your tacos. No, I'm getting steak fajitas or I'm getting carne asada tacos. And that's it. That's
That's
the end
all
of
there
the
is.
order.
Those are the only words you know.
Yeah, there's no option. I'll take maybe like a pozole if I don't feel good.
Mhm.
But typically, no, I just want a carne asada taco and just with onion and like cilantro. I don't want crema.
Are we all
Plain Jane.
cilantro likers here, or
I love cilantro.
I love
Okay,
cilantro.
I don't. I'll eat it on the taco, but I don't eat it on much else.
okay?
Is it soap or do you just not like it?
No, it doesn't. I don't know. I don't have the soap taste. It just tastes like bitter to me.
Oh, okay.
But every once in a while, like on a taco, I'm like, no, it has to
Yeah,
have
it's
cilantro.
gotta.
It doesn't taste
Yeah.
good. Like,
You
or
need
they'll be
something
like one or
green
two
in
other
there.
dishes. Hell no. Hell no. None of that. None of that green
You need
stuff.
something green in there.
A tomatillo salsa, perhaps.
Mhm. Actually, yeah. I do like the green salsa is my favorite always.
Green salsa is my favorite.
Actually, yes
Yeah.
to tomatillo.
Yeah,
Actually,
Yes, tomatillo.
that's going to be
Yes.
confirmed.
Yeah.
confirmed. And a margarita. You gotta have a margarita.
Gotta have a mark.
Oh,
Love-
Frozen mark.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll
love frozen
take
margaritas.
it. Marg on the rocks.
Ooh,
I love frozen. I love
It's
frozen.
so good.
Especially when it's hot out.
You don't ever get a
Dream.
brain freeze from the frozen?
I love it.
I
love when it
so
hurts.
good.
Oh, yeah.
Have you
That's how
ever
you know you're alive.
done? You should do like a tipsy D&D,
Oh, fun.
That could be fun,
right?
That
like
could be fun. I'm
a
gonna be.
D&D cocktail hour.
My secret
Yeah.
is that I definitely did have something.
MJ's like, it's we already
Inside
did it.
scoop. Inside scoop.
I was just a little nervous.
Yeah.
No, I think that would actually be really funny if we all like had some pussy juice, which
Mm-hmm.
you would know what that means if you watched the show, and I wasn't just saying that.
And if not, we're not explaining it.
But if we all had some to drink, get a little tipsy, I feel like that would be a great one shot. Like we
Yeah.
cannot prolong being drunk for like
No.
6 hours.
No.
But
That
that's not a bad idea.
painful.
Like D&D happy hour. It's just like
Yeah.
a teensy
true.
little a taste of D&D. See, I think I could get into that because it's shorter.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bad with commitment, other than to like people.
That's what one shots are great for. That's what if you guys ever want me to DM a one shot for you guys, I would do that. I think it'd be fun.
One try.
One
That'd
try.
be fun.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be a second try
try.
exclusive. Maybe it'll be like a fake advertisement in,
Right?
in
We
the
all
world
get
of the
drunk
game.
on frozen margs and play D&D for 20
Becky kills me in
minutes.
2 seconds. Game over.
How do I murder him?
Done.
MJ's like, you don't
That's
murder
not,
anyone,
it's sort
Becky.
of collaborative,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
That is the antithesis of this game. We need to take it back. Take it back.
Mhm.
Well,
love
MJ,
it.
that's all the time we have for today.
Thank you guys so much for having me. This was a blast.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yes,
God, of
thank
course.
you.
And Can
Finally.
you shout out I know you go live on Twitch a bunch.
I do.
You also, do you go live on YouTube?
No, I really should probably do
Okay,
that.
you probably should. Probably should.
Jack is the one who does the live on both, and now I'm like, well, sort of stealing my thunder, so now I really gotta spread it out.
Step
Step
up
it
your
up.
game.
Yeah,
We gotta, Jack can't win.
Gotta
Can't let Jack win.
Let Jack
No.
win.
No, just kidding. We love Jack.
we love Jack on this podcast.
In real life, different story.
Should I make fake beef with Jack?
Yeah, I think
Would that be funny?
I think that's
Okay, I'm gonna make fake beef with Jack.
Yeah.
I'm saying it right now, Jack. We should have a fist fight on live.
If this
We should do
video
creator
gets
clash.
Yeah.
60,000 likes,
Creator clash. Jack and I fist fight.
MJ will beat the shit out of Jack.
I would watch. I would definitely watch.
But for real, where can people find you and watch you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at miss_joy99 and also on Twitch at missjoy99. I'm usually streaming on Wednesdays, but I'm trying to add a couple more days. We'll see. I want to get
nice.
that Twitch partnership.
Love it.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on here. This was so much fun.
Thanks. Until next time, guys, make sure you're washing your hands, peeing after sex, watching and subscribing to Second Try so you could see Try Guys, watching and subscribing to Miss Joy over here. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.